What's up guys, Rogue9 here. In my last Battlefield 1 video I compared the performance of the sidearms that are available to all 4 classes, but I completely forgot the FN Mle 1903. Yeah, stupid, I know, right? I don't know how I managed to do that, I really don't. So in order to make up for this horrendous oversight, I will now present to you all of the info relating to the Mle 1903 that really should have been in the last video, but wasn't. If you haven't seen the last video yet, I strongly recommend you go back and take a look at it after you finish this one. There will be a link at the end. And with that, let's dive straight in by looking at the usage time of the Mle 1903 and figuring out where it fits in amongst the 8 other weapons that are common to all classes. Out of the 9 sidearm variants that are common to all 4 classes, the Mle 1903 is in fact the second most popular. The gun's usage time, as at the 23rd of March 2017, is 8% of the total usage time of all handguns, and if we adjust that so that we're only looking at the usage time as a percentage of the 9 firearms we're looking at, we end up with 13.8%. In fact, here, have a pie chart just to make up for the fact that I forgot the Mle in the last video. As you can see, the numbers have changed slightly since the last video, and that's simply because we've added in the Mle. Although this doesn't really affect the rankings, and at least I got the least loved weapon right, which is still the C93. And I call it the least loved because it has the lowest usage time percentage, but as was also very kindly pointed out to me in the last video, a very likely reason for this is that you need to be support class level 10 in order to unlock it. So maybe rather than telling you that this is a hidden gem and you should definitely try out this gun, the message should be, get on your bike, play some support class and get access to this gun, it's really good. Now in the previous video I already compared the C93 to all of the other weapons except the Mle in detail, so I won't be going over all of that again. Instead, I will just give you a straight up comparison between the advantages of the C93 versus the Mle and vice versa. And the short answer in fact to the question of how does the Mle compare to the C93 is that they are almost identical in their stats. The Mle 1903 has 4 different stats that are better than the C93. Better max damage, less upwards recoil, less spread when aiming down sights and moving, and it is slightly quicker to draw and fire. And as you can see from these stats, the differences are actually virtually negligible. The only thing that maybe looks impressive is the greater damage at close range. But even this advantage doesn't really make much difference unless you're coming up against a target that is already injured or you throw in some headshots, because against a full health enemy at close range, both weapons are 4 shots to kill. And since both guns have exactly the same fire rate and the same damage drop-off, both guns have a virtually identical time to kill. So in my eyes, the advantages that the Mle has over the C93 are pretty much cosmetic and not really meaningful. Over to the C93's advantages, and here we have a slightly bigger magazine, a much faster tactical reload as well as empty reload, a slightly higher muzzle velocity and a little less spread when aiming down sights and not moving. And once again here, I would say that most of these advantages won't really do much for you. I mean, 1 extra bullet, yeah, that's nice to have. 40 meters per second extra muzzle velocity, okay, that won't really do much. And a tiny little bit less spread when aiming down sights and not moving, again, in my eyes, virtually the same. But, and here comes the big but, the Mle having a reload time that is more than half a second slower than the C93 is significant, at least in my eyes. Okay, you could argue that a sidearm is a close quarters emergency backup weapon anyway, and if you can't handle the situation in 1 magazine, well then you're in trouble anyway. But 0.65 seconds for both a tactical reload and a reload from empty, well that might just make all the difference right there. So in summary, I would say that the C93 definitely retains its hidden gem status that I gave it in the last video, but since the Mle is virtually identical to this weapon in every aspect apart from reload time, my other conclusion I think also remains true, and that is if you're picking between the semi-auto sidearms that are available to all 4 classes, they are all so similar to each other that you may as well pick your favorite based on which sight picture you like the best. So there you have it, and like I mentioned earlier, if you haven't seen the other video yet, feel free to go back and check it. There's a link coming up now, and of course, all of the conclusions presented in this video are simply my opinion, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. As always guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next episode. And who knows, it might even be about a new topic, unless I forgot something important again. Whatever the case, I hope to see you then nonetheless.